Hello everyone and welcome to the Wolfszeit channel. Today with a very special topic, indeed very special. The gamma control. The knights in Mortal are pretty bright, unlike myself. Okay. And the problem is, in the dungeons or in the dark spaces there, it's so dark that everyone is using gamma control. Not gamma control, not exactly the software gamma control, but using your NVIDIA filters to crank up the gamma, using your system settings, your graphics card settings or whatever shit to lighten up the darkness in there. And that is pretty sad to see, because if StarVolt would just make it a little bit lighter, then no one needs to use this gamma shit. Because the game that does not look very good if you use the gamma all the time, if you crank it up too high. Then people upload these videos or whatever stuff and it doesn't look so good. For example, the spider dungeon, some parts of the minor dungeon, a few other caves, the Zator dungeon and stuff like that. There are some rooms in there and some stuff in there that you need to use gamma in order to see something. And that is not very good. Just make it light enough. Just make it so bright that no one ever need to use gamma. And of course people will use it because they get a little slight advantage of seeing stuff. So yes, StarVolt, maybe brighten up all the stuff. But the general question is, do you think that we need brighter nights inside closed spaces or outside in the world? I make a vote for that. Please look in the description for the vote and for the voting poll, and please vote there, that we have an indicator of what the community wants in terms of gamma control and stuff like that. But before, please hear Henrik's statement to that.
Well, we made the game lighter so that we don't burn through our monitor. So that's why we had one of those questions for the formula or questionnaire if you participate in the PTR, and they're very helpful for us to get feedback, data, and information. As you know, we decided to make the entire world bright enough during nighttime with the two bright big moons, so you don't have to gamma hack or crank up the shit to look crazy to see good enough during night times. Some of the challenge here is that everyone had different types of monitor types, different types of technology on the monitors, different types of settings. Some people run around with crazy filters that they toggle on and off. So everything looks quite different on every single gamer setup out there in the world. Which means you will all see the game either a little bit too bright, or a little bit too dark, or a little bit in between, right? So obviously that's a challenge. We are looking into a little bit of those kind of darkness calibration options that you can see in some games where you have to pull this line until you can barely read all the letters. That is a pretty easy way to kind of know that this is where it's meant to be played. So everyone is in this pretty close same average when it comes to darkness, brightness. And that's where we try to aim, where it's bright enough to still be a believable, beautiful, moody night, but still bright enough for you not to touch any filters or gamma, to be able to enjoy and see and fight. And the latest question here, we got the majority think, if I'm not mistaken, that we are on a good spot there, but there's still a portion that would turn up their gamma when they're fighting due to some of these reasons, right? And the other challenge is also, the world looks different, right? Some regions may have darker textures, some have brighter, like around Medulla, quite bright, the sand textures, right? Which means a night looks more brighter around Medulla than in the jungle or, in other locations in the world. So it's a little bit of a challenge, because we don't want to have thousands of different settings and process zones that change all this, because it's not good and it's time consuming and performance and all kind of crap. So we try to find a good middle ground that works worldwide, and hopefully we can find a good setting where most of you guys also have the correct brightness, gamma setup, without having to touch it any further, and enjoy day and nights, and it looks and feel good without any hurdles. That's the goal, right? And then when it comes to caves and dungeons, undergrounds, underdark, that's when it can become pitch black, where you are dependent on light sources, either magic, gifts, or light sources, right? To see in those. And we have some of those locations in the world, and there will be more of those also, obviously, with the underdark and more dungeons. So that makes sense when it comes to that topic.
That is awesome. But the thing you mentioned, Henrik, with the pitch black dark pixels inside the dungeons, I mean, yeah, would be awesome if that would be implemented and stuff like that. But currently, it is not there. I don't know if it's there. But everyone who's running inside the spider dungeon is cranking up their gamma because they can see more. So I don't know. I mean, if you really make it so pitch black that increasing your gamma doesn't give you any advantage whatsoever, no difference, then yeah, perfect. But currently, it's, yeah, I mean, people have an advantage if they use the gamma control. If you crank up your gamma, even if you're running outside at night times, it's not so bright. But it's still bright enough that you can see stuff. But if you are in a forest and stuff like that, and you haven't cranked up your gamma, you have a very high chance to miss people there, to miss some animals there and stuff like that, because you can't see them, because you haven't cranked up your gamma in the forest. So I don't know if that is intended. But yeah, the community need to vote for that. What we all want with that. And I guess what Henrik said with the slider is a very good addition. I mean, if you just like any other game, you always, this is if this is barely visible, you have the perfect settings. But for people who like competitive play or playing Tarkov, for example, or some other stuff, it's like cranking it up to the absolutely maximum to see the most stuff. And people will also do that. So if you have a slider inside the game where is this barely visible, it's perfect and stuff like that, people will crank it up all the way. I mean, this is what people do. And the only thing to counter stuff like people abusing the brightness of their own monitors and own stuff is just pitch black pixels, or it's so bright that you don't have an advantage if you crank up the brightness. I mean, these are the only two options that can work. And what I have learned from Mortal Online 1 and all the time playing Mortal Online, if there is a very slim, a very tiny bit that can improve the outcome while you're playing, people will use that. Of course they will use that. And the same is with the resolution. I mean, it's awesome that Star World will increase the field of view, because a lot of people playing no shit Sherlock on 4 to 3 monitor sizes, and not monitors but the resolution sizes, even on 1-to-1 ratio, and it looks like shit. If you're playing like this on a 4K screen or on whatever screen, it looks completely pressed. It's like everyone is very fat. Everyone looks fat. It looks so strange. But people will play with that because they have nearly a 30% higher field of view or 20% higher field of view. And of course people will abuse that. And of course people will use that. Of course people will play like that. Because the options that you can use normally is not equal for everyone. Because if people abuse that and changing the resolution or changing the gamma, they will have an advantage, and they will do that. Unless, Henrik, Star Vault give us the options that if you do that, you won't have an advantage anymore. Then no one will do that, of course. But let's see where the future will bring us. I mean, Mortal Online is a marathon, and I'm really looking forward to the next 10 years. I mean, it's getting better and better and better and better every month, every year. It's getting better and better. So we will see what it will be like in a few years. What it will be like with the next patch. We will see. So thank you all for watching, and please leave a like and subscribe. Would be really awesome. Share the video and ring the bell. And also special thanks to all the supporters. Of course, Carmel, Professor Lukario, Rhonus, Paarthurnax, Cologne, Bulldog, Giovanni, Vargas, with Greta, you, and all the others, of course. And never forget to gamma hard. Party hard. And see you all next time. Goodbye.